How's it going today? Today we're going to talk about cloud stock, cloud computing, and all that stuff. Basically, why I'm recommending this. Everything's going on the cloud because it's just more efficient. They can do a lot more things, and a lot of these companies, the more they go on online, the basically more data they go use, more. But anyway, I'm just going to get into it. The first stock I recommend is Amazon. Amazon has AWS. Have you ever heard of it? Like, you ever heard someone say, well, our systems use AWS? That's what they're talking about. It's called Amazon Web Services, and that's basically, it helps store the data among the clouds and stuff like that. And the reason I recommend Amazon, because, well, it's doing well, of course. But, it's kind of like, it operates as a retail. Also, it has both of them, and cloud servicing is a little more it's like subscription. It costs a lot to switch. Basically, if let's say you have all your data being stored here, you would have to transfer a lot of that. So if you're a $1 billion company and have to do all that, so you're probably not going to switch unless it's a lot better. And the thing is, with these a lot of these companies, the more data is being stored, the more complicated. Like, let's say your app on your phone, the more it gets with 5G, and the more things that use data, that's a lot of data. So essentially, it's just going to have to use more and more and more, and it could just cost a lot more and more. So essentially, you gonna have Amazon just keep making more money from it, and honestly, it gives them pricing competitive pricing power with a lot of their retail stuff. So if you have a business that's profiting heavily, you can lower the prices, and really a lot of the retailers really can't compete. So that's why I recommend Amazon. And now the another one, I've already recommended this one. I recommend Amazon multiple times. But this one is Twilio. It's growing at 81% revenue. It's only a $17 billion company. So, I mean, this company has a lot of room to run, really. I mean, hell, this company could be easily, a $30 billion company. So essentially, I mean, that's almost double from where it is today. So, I mean, as you can see, I mean, these especially this one has a lot of room to run. So essentially, what it does is I could leave another link. I think I get into more details with the other one. But anyway, I'm just going to try to make it quick. Basically, what it does communication. So let's say you go on your app, and if you ever go on Uber or anything like that, they use Twilio. And basically, what it does is it essentially, like, it sends when your Uber driver that is there to pick you up. Basically, that's what it does. So that's why I recommend Twilio. You can see all the applications, all these notifications. It does with email too. So I mean, it's definitely a big player in the clouds. The next company that I recommend is called zscaler. I call ZS. It's actually a cybersecurity, but it's a lot different than all the other cybersecurity. This one basically focuses on the cloud. So essentially, if you have all this data going to this, you can hack into if you can hack into the cloud, essentially that's where all the data is. So essentially, a lot of these people, they have a data center. I could leave another link when I fully explain it. I don't really have time to fully explain it in this short video. I like to make these kind of short, especially if I already talked about them. The next two I haven't really talked about, so I go. But anyway, basically what it does is it basically protects the cloud. So essentially, a lot of companies that kind of protect their databases, this kind of protects the cloud and all the data, and you can see all the data going in there. So the more data it protects, the more money it makes, and so on and so forth. It's only a $9 billion company, so that company has a pretty big room to run. I mean, the company can easily be, I mean, it's almost, I mean, a lot of these companies, they can really just keep going too. But next company I'm going to recommend is Workday. Basically, what Workday is, it does all the HR type stuff. So if you're a business, obviously you're going to have an HR department. Do all that, does payroll and all that stuff. So essentially, Workday is basically all the data being stored there in the cloud and all that. So that's why I recommend Workday. I think it's only a $46 billion company. And as you can see, I mean, as a lot of these companies slowly move to the cloud, I mean, it's just going to put more and more. So basically, I bought, these companies, a couple years ago. It's just amazing how much a lot of these companies have grown. I mean, um, it's really just amazing, really. I mean, how much these are growing, and so they have so much potential too. I mean, it's one of these things where you could look back in 5 years from now and go, really, if you pick up one of the, especially, and the way I would invest in all of these is maybe, let's say you have 5,000. I would maybe put a little less in Amazon just because it's already a big company. It doesn't really it has room to grow, but you look at the market cap of that company, it's sitting at not 900 billion. So essentially, if it would double, that'd be over a $1.8 trillion company. So essentially, that'd be a lot of growth. So essentially, but Twilio, if it doubled, it'd be only a $30 billion company. If Workday would double, it'd be around a $100 billion company. So essentially, I mean, let's say if they all get, I'm not saying they could all be the next Amazon or anything, because Amazon has retail, but let's just say if it becomes, big as Oracle. I think Oracle's sitting around $200 billion company. So essentially, if Workday gets up there, that's 4 times where it is now. So essentially, I mean, you can see where a lot of these companies can grow. So essentially, that's how I would invest in these. And the next company I recommend is Salesforce. Salesforce does customer relationship management. That's actually its ticker symbol is called CRM. So essentially, it helps so if you're a business, $1 billion business, you have all these customers, and you have to keep them all, kind of checked and keep them all, make sure they're all happy and they grow sales, and that's really what they do. And they do some other things too to help them out. I mean, they're always expanding. I mean, the company, I remember, it's just how it is with a lot of these companies. They're always expanding, so that's why I picked Salesforce. And it's funny too, the CEO used to work for Oracle, and they were like one of the first companies in the cloud computing type thing. So essentially, I forget the guy's name, like Mark Benioff or something like that. But anyway, as you can see, that's why I recommend Salesforce. The last one is Adobe, and this is the only one I actually personally, other than Amazon, but I never used their cloud service. But Adobe, I actually like Adobe a lot. I made another video recommending this one. Adobe has a lot of business, and basically all that data is getting stored in the cloud. What it does is it makes Photoshop and Premiere, and I forget what it's called. I use Photoshop and I used Premiere. That's the ones I make. Premiere is basically for videos and stuff like that. If you make videos, video editing. I mean, think of all the YouTube. I mean, a lot of people probably use Premiere or something like that. I mean, Hollywood actually uses Premiere stuff to make their videos, and Photoshop, obviously, it's huge. So as you can see, and it's all getting stored in the cloud. So essentially, Adobe offers that too. So essentially, but I'm going to wrap it up real quick. That's my 6 companies for the clouds. I think that could be a really good play for these. But anyway, that's really all I have to say about these companies. I will leave a link down in the description, because a lot of these I already recommended. I really like these cloud stocks. I like really all of them. I wouldn't recommend any of them. I personally own all of them. So essentially, I think you should too. But yeah, that's about it for this video. That's my 6 cloud stocks that I think everybody should own. And thank you for watching.